Commentary team. It is the former Republic of Ireland captain Andy Townsend who is with Sam Matterface.
Well, good evening everyone. Welcome to Moss Rose, where the air is thick with the electricity of the impossible. The pitch has finally been cleared of TV, radio, dignitaries and mascots, and the action now is just moments away. They say lightning doesn't strike twice, but just don't tell that to Macclesfield. Just last month, this Phoenix club, risen from the ashes only 6 years ago, produced perhaps, in fact it did produce, the greatest upset in FA Cup history, toppling Crystal Palace right here on this artificial turf. Tonight the script remains the same, but the antagonist has changed. Premier League high flyers Brentford, sitting comfortably in 7th position, arrive in Cheshire, not just to win, but to avoid becoming a footnote in another fairy tale. The disparity is stark. 117 places separate these sides in the pyramid. Macclesfield's squad, boasting PE teachers and part-time labourers, face international stars and multi-million-pound signings. John Rooney, brother of a legend, has already orchestrated one miracle. Can he conduct another? The Brentford boss, Keith Andrews, insists it's not in his DNA to underestimate them, but history is knocking at the door. Tonight, we find out if the Silkman can answer it one more time. Macclesfield start with Dearnley in goal. Lewis Fensom is the right back. He scored his only goal of the season in the first round against Tottenham. Sam Heathcote and Cameron Borthwick-Jackson, who played 14 times for Manchester United under Lewis Van Gaal, are the two centre-halves. Lewis Lacey is the left back. In midfield, James Edmondson will hold, with Dawson and Osborne helping out too. Then Duffy will play from the right side, assisted one of the most famous goals in Macclesfield history in round 3. And Isaac Buckley-Ricketts, who scored one of those, plays from the left. Damani Mellor leads the line. For Brentford, they've got Hakan Valdemarson in goal, Michael Coyote and his big catapult throws at right back, Pinnock, Collins and Hickey the back four. Then Janol Yarmouk and Jensen in midfield, with Donovan, who was playing on the right-hand side in their first game in this competition against Sheffield Wednesday. Kai Furo, who hasn't made his Brentford debut yet, he's just about to, and Reece Nelson in attack. Andy Townsend is alongside us. Andy, you were here for the Palace game. How do they bridge the 117 place gap Macclesfield tonight?
Exactly the same way, Sam, as they did a month ago. It's hard work, it's belief, be courageous when they have the ball, get it forward, take no risks at the back, eliminate all those daft things across the edge of their own box, get it into Brentford's penalty area. We're
underway with immediately Brentford on the forward push, shooting from right to left in the first half, and Ronell Donovan just travelled with the ball a little bit too far and then overhit it, put it straight out of play over on the far side. For some unknown reason, Brentford have got black numbers on the backs of their shirts tonight. It's usually white in the Premier League. Difficult to see under these floodlights. And it almost felt there as if the left winger, Isaac Buckley-Ricketts, was a little bit difficult for the Brentford players to see as well, because as he skated past Coyote, he was bumped into by Yarmouk, and that's a free kick over on the far side for Macclesfield, 20 yards short of the penalty area.
Yeah, first chance to wind something in towards the edge of the 18-yard box and the penalty spot. That's your target. Lots of blue shirts already converging on that area. Brentford trying to hold that line to keep them out the box, but good delivery required.
Well, Heathcote up from the back. He's towards the far post. Lewis Fensom in there as well. Cameron Borthwick-Jackson on the edge of the area might be a target as the cross comes in wide from the left. Borthwick-Jackson doesn't get there. The header over the top is from Paul Dawson, who scored in that game against Crystal Palace. It's over the top of the bar and it's out for a goal kick away to our right and in the hands of the Brentford supporters behind the goal, who are a little bit reluctant to give the ball back.
That was actually a decent delivery from Lacey. Paul Dawson it was who put his head on it. He was excellent. He was absolutely terrific. Typified the Macclesfield performance against Crystal Palace. He put his head on that one, just couldn't get it on target, and Brentford have it with a goal kick,
which Pinnock will take. Valdemarson deferring duties to him, then gets a short pass, looks up, and then will smash this down the middle of the artificial turf. It's over the halfway line, and a strong, powerful header from Heathcote manages to steer it away from Kai Furo, who's making his debut tonight for Brentford. He featured in the Champions League against Arsenal earlier in the season when he was at Club Brugge before they bought him for £8.7 million. He'd only played 192 minutes of first-team football before Brentford decided to part with cash for him. Hickey gets the ball back to his goalkeeper away to our right-hand side. And Brentford have got to be very considered in their approach here. They've got to be very thoughtful. They've got to make sure they've got the right mentality to manage the game, because in the early stages in particular, Andy, of course, Macclesfield are going to be full of adrenaline and emotion.
Yeah, they will. Of course they will. So they've got to just try and take good care of the ball when they have possession, Brentford. And look, they've been playing very well lately. I mean, I thought the last 20 minutes, half an hour against Arsenal was off the scale. It was brilliant stuff to watch. I watched them at Aston Villa, where they also got a terrific result. So look, it's a very useful team that Keith Andrews has got at the moment. Yes, there's some changes, but nonetheless, there's still a lot of good players out there.
Ball played towards the right-hand side. It's picked up by Nathan Collins, who hasn't been in the Premier League team in the last couple of matches. It's sent wide towards the wide right, where it's picked up by Donovan, who shuffles it back over the halfway line, and Collins has got it again inside his own half. He's at walking pace now as he looks up. Jensen makes a run from midfield, but it's not spotted by Collins. It's now lifted over the top for Furo to chase, but Borthwick Jackson is there. He sends it long and up to the halfway line, and it will be returned by Pinnock all the way back to Valdemarson in the Brentford goal. Well, since the Palace game, Macclesfield have been in cracking form, Andy. They've won 7 of their last 9 in all competitions, and momentum is a powerful drug. The Siltmen are addicted to it right now. But the one thing I suppose difference is winning National League games and FA trophy matches at a certain level you can manage, but coming up against the might of a Premier League team is something completely different.
Yes, it is. There's a sloppy pass there from Pinnock,
and it's given away and picked up on the right side by Luke Duffy, who slaloms to the edge of the area, releases the ball down the right side. It's picked up by Edmondson, who tries to get the cross in. Pinnock comes across, atones for his error, and puts it out for a corner kick away to our right hand side. And that's the kind of thing that Macclesfield have got to pounce upon.
Yeah, that ball from Ethan Pinnock was a simple 20-yard pass. He actually only knocked it 3 or 4 yards in front, I think, of Hickey. But it just flies off the top of this surface. It just gets away from him on this 5G surface. And there, very quickly, they lose possession. And Macclesfield have a corner down this right side.
Elliot Osborne's gone on the goalkeeper as the free kick. The corner comes in towards the near post. Mellor gets a header in. It's blocked by Nathan Collins and then cleared away by Janol out towards the near side. And it was a decent looking delivery as well, wasn't it? Swung in from the near side by Osborne and Edmondson. And Mellor went to dip towards it and try and nod it goalwards. There was a problem for Heathcote just before that was taken. He went down and he wanted to change his boots, and now it looks as if that there is another issue here, and he's being dealt with by the physio on the pitch after a delay in play.
Yeah, I don't know whether he rolled his ankle there. Sam Heathcote's a big lad, and just as you say, prior to that corner being delivered, he was already coming over here and having a bit of treatment right below us. And at the moment, he looks like he's having something strapped up pretty heavily.
Well, Danny Elliott, who is their star striker, was ruled out in the warm-up of the last game, or failed a late fitness test in the warm-up to the last game, and he's actually about 4 seats away to us, to our left-hand side, and isn't able to play and probably won't until the end of the season. The last thing that they'll want is to lose another player here on their big night in front of the radio and TV men here at Moss Rose. There is a bit of a delay as he gets his boot back on just outside the penalty area.
And just looking, Sam, at the couple of corners that they've whipped in, certainly the set plays now of teams like Macclesfield, a lot more sophisticated perhaps than they used to be. Of course, they're a key component pretty much across the land nowadays, set plays, and the amount of time and effort teams put into them. But they were very good against Crystal Palace, and when they got it wide, even in open play, they didn't delay. They just put that ball into the box from wherever, however, and just made Palace deal with it.
Heathcote now coming off after receiving treatment on this near side. John Rooney, who's the Macclesfield boss, looking for his second Premier League scalp in a month. He was named the National League North Manager of the Month for January. I think not just because of these cup exploits, because of how well they're doing in the league. They've moved up the table. They're now 6th in the 6th tier. Ball played down the right side by Macclesfield, not dealt with well by Aaron Hickey. Mellor wins it back in the corner, and then it's shot away towards the halfway line by Reece Nelson. Didn't reach his intended target, but Donovan picks it up and sends it out wide to Jensen on the halfway line. He then shuffles back into his own half, and it goes all the way to Pinnock, away to our right-hand side. It remains Macclesfield 0, Brentford 0. Heathcote eventually allowed back on the pitch. It took a few more than the 30 seconds that you're usually supposed to be off, and that's why you heard the roar from the Macclesfield crowd inside Moss Rose. And it looks as if Donovan was fouled over on that far side. The referee didn't give it. He was sandwiched between both Buckley Ricketts and Lewis Lacey. Referee played on. Collins sent the ball forward. He's chested down by Furo, but he can't get it under control. Yeah. And it rolls into the arms of the goalkeeper, Max Durnley.
Unlucky. Decent ball in, actually, to the young striker from Nathan Collins. Just went over the head of Cameron Borthwick-Jackson, but Furo just couldn't quite take that into his stride, into his path, and get a shot away.
That's a sellout crowd tonight at the Leasing.com Stadium. We still call it Moss Rose, obviously, don't we, Andy? Because
we do.
It has been for years. But they'd all tightly packed in here today. In fact, I'm pleased, actually, they all took their seats, because at one stage I thought they were all going to just stand on the edge of the pitch for the whole night, because it was absolutely jam-packed down there.
It was like
one of those end-of-season, fun days that you have. It's crazy. But it was a great atmosphere, and it is a great atmosphere here tonight. Ball thrown in from the right side, and Coyote, as you would imagine, gets great distance on that. Chasing it down the right is Furo, trying to keep it in, can't do so. Shrugged aside Cameron Borthwick-Jackson, but the ball goes out of play and away for a goal kick away to our left.
Yep, we've got Yarmuluk and Janelt. They're the two guys sitting in the middle of the park for Brentford tonight. Matthias Jensen will be the one to try and get up in and around Furo when the ball gets up towards the young man. He's got to try and hang on to it and allow those quicker boys who are playing on the flanks to also come and join in. And I think Brentford, the best way for them to not over elaborate in their own territory, I actually think get it forward to those forward boys, those quick boys, as often and as fast as they can, to give them a chance to really get at Macclesfield.
It is an artificial surface, and that played a part in the Palace win. And you'd expect Brentford to need a few minutes to sort of calibrate themselves on it, but they did come here earlier today just to test themselves out, just to make sure they knew what to expect when they came here tonight.
Sure. I mean, all the Premier League clubs, they'll have these surfaces at their training complexes.
Oh, that's a poor ball infield. It comes towards Duffy, who hits it over the top of the crossbar. It was a poor giveaway over on that right-hand side. It was Ronell Donovan who played the ball square across the face of his own goal. Duffy there picked it up and saw only one thing, but he just missed the target by a couple of yards, Andy.
Yeah, it's a really poor ball, that, actually, from Ronell Donovan. A square ball that never got anywhere near its target. It was cut out by Duffy. He actually could have had another touch just to settle that down a little bit more. Took it on the half volley and kind of leaning back, just skied it a wee bit. But again, that's a couple of square balls now already. Brentford have hit and haven't found the target. They're very quickly intercepted.
Don't take no chances. Here's Buckley Ricketts taking it out of the sky. Very talented footballer who came through the Manchester City Academy. He was playing Youth Cup football and winning European Championships with the England under-19 team. Very well thought of, Buckley Ricketts. Played with Mason Mount and Aaron Ramsdale in that team that won the European Championship. He's just run the ball out of play on this near side down by the corner flag. But Brentford, I think, already know that they're going to be in for a bit of a game tonight. And they can't take any sloppiness or any complacency here be allowed to set in.
Not at all.
Well, Macclesfield's intensity was key against Crystal Palace. They pressed high at times, they hit hard. Whether they can sustain that over another 90 minutes remains to be seen. Header away, but only as far as Furo on the edge of the Macclesfield penalty area. He can't get it under control. It's cleared away by Borthwick-Jackson. Comes out to Lacey, far side the left. He turns it back into midfield, and Osborne tries to release it to the far side. It's cleared away. It doesn't quite reach the halfway line. Dawson tried to just nudge it over the halfway line, but I think it went out for a throw-in, and Coyote's got it in his hands again. And they're looking to build from the back, Brentford away to our right-hand side.
It's a very different front three, of course, for Brentford tonight. Some of their boys that have been playing week in, week out in the Premier League have had exceptional seasons. Obviously, Thiago Sharda has also been really good this season. Tonight's a very different looking front three. They're very quick, but it's inexperienced. And we'll see how they fare. But they've got to try and be elusive, and they've got to make sure that they're always looking to turn this Macclesfield team round and try and give their team the lead.
Well, Reece Nelson is more experienced than the other two, isn't
Correct,
he?
he is.
He hasn't played very often for Brentford this season.
No.
He played the first 70 minutes of the game against Sheffield Wednesday. He's got Furo alongside him through the middle, and on the right is Donovan, who's picked it up now, and he's scampered in behind the defence. Buckley Ricketts is really fast though. Rapid got back to him, but the cross comes in from Donovan. It's blocked by Borthwick Jackson, and it's cleared away from inside the penalty area by Macclesfield. 0-0 the score in the FA Cup fourth round. The winners will go to West Ham in round 5. Donovan cuts in from the right side. Bit of space here for Vitaly Janot. Back out wide to the Brentford left, and Hickey further down the touchline. The gloved fists of Nelson's. He pushes the ball back infield. Jensen, who was so key in midfield against Arsenal, is immediately pressed by Osborne, who comes from a deeper lying midfield position just to engage with him, and then plays the ball square. Jensen towards the far side, and Brentford look to build again. 0-0 the score. Talksport on a Monday night under the lights in Cheshire. Jensen forward, long raking ball down in towards the left channel, taken down by Nelson, but he couldn't keep control of it, and he showed too much of that to Lewis Svensson, the right fullback, and it's cleared away.
Yep, and each time, so the last 7 or 8 minutes, each time Macclesfield have tried to serve it forward, they've only got really Damani Mellor, plenty of bodies back behind the ball, as you can well imagine and understand early on in this tie. I think we've been talking about how much Brentford respect Macclesfield. Don't worry about that. Macclesfield know they're up against a very useful outfit here and must pay them plenty of respect.
Yeah, absolutely, and Brentford have shown this season that they don't take anything lightly, and Keith Andrews is pretty certain about that. One thing I will say is there's a lot of players in this Macclesfield team that have played at a higher level. There's a lot of players in this Macclesfield team that have come through big clubs. You look at Damani Mellor, he played in the Europa League for Manchester United.
Correct.
That sort of is a thread that is running through the whole of the team, really. There's one or two that have sort of fallen out or come through non-league, but essentially there are some talented footballers out there.
Which helps you, because it means they won't be faced by what's happening this evening and all the attention that the game has brought here to Moss Lane. So that's not going to be a problem for them. And again, how many minutes? Where are we now, Sam? How many minutes in?
Into the game?
Yeah.
I don't think I started my stopwatch.
I can't see the clock actually from here. Oh, there we go.
14 minutes 30
14
seconds,
minutes in. So look, they've done okay. Brentford have had, bit of neat and tidy possession, but as of yet, haven't really worked Max Durnley in the goal for Macclesfield at all.
14 minutes 30 seconds into the game, and it's still 0-0 between Macclesfield and Brentford. The ball is out over on the far side for a Macclesfield throw, deep inside their own territory, thrown in up towards the halfway line, flicked on by Duffy, and then further still onto Mellor, but he can't reach it. Collins gets there first. Another big header by Dawson, who won 15 tackles in that Crystal Palace game. Ball runs loose towards the left edge of the area, and then Dawson thinks it came off a Brentford shirt last, but the foul has been given in Brentford's favour, and Darren England now just wants to have a word with Dawson for the robustness of the challenge. And we're at the back of the main stand here, just right of centre. As you can imagine, there isn't the possibility of replays in here tonight.
No.
No.
Monitors are at a premium in here, let's put it that way. But you know what? It's great. We love it. It was brilliant here last time. It really was. It was such a great day. And it kind of typified everything about the competition.
Well, we haven't had a big upset. I mean, Mansfield getting their win at the weekend is probably the biggest headline that we've had this round. But Macclesfield winning here would be absolutely sensational. A second Premier League scout would be unreal. Not that we want that to happen. We're not biased in any way. Well, some of us aren't. Anyway, 16 gone. You're listening to Talksport. Here is Valdemarsson, the Icelander, away to our right. Rolls the ball into the path of Ethan Pinnock, who takes a couple of steps forward, then stops, waits, passes it back again. Valdemarsson can take all the time in the world. They're quite happy to sit off now, Macclesfield, and not pressure Valdemarsson. And then Pinnock brings it out further up to the halfway line, slides it down the left. Aaron Hickey takes over now. The left full-back cuts infield, halfway now inside the Macclesfield half, finds Reece Nelson, who guides it back into the centre circle. The talented Yarmaluk nudges the ball out to the right side, taken on by Collins, and then Collins out to Coyote. Coyote back to the halfway line. I wonder if Coyote when he takes one of his long throws, with the longest long throw they've seen at Moss Rose this season.
Could well be. I mean, he can launch it, can't he? Really can. It's such a dangerous weapon that, it really is.
That's a mistake by Hickey, which has yielded the chance for Fensham to nudge it forward. Couldn't find Duffy, and the ball runs through to Pinnock. But again, they win the ball back, and Duffy's got it because Mellor's intervention, and it's 4-on-4 here. Macclesfield coming forward. Dawson looking to shoot. Right footed, down low to his right. He says it took a deflection, it missed the goal by an inch. It's a great chance for Macclesfield, and the first real shot in anger tonight at Moss Rose comes from the home side, from the sixth tier.
Yeah, great strike. Paul Dawson really hit it nicely, and certainly Valdemarson scrambling to his right, wasn't sure whether that was going to sneak inside that post or indeed hit it. As it was, it went just the wrong side of it. But again, Brentford losing possession, Macclesfield very quickly getting across that 10 or 20 yards to the edge of their box.
Forward by Coyote, in behind the defence. Furo heads it on. Donovan gets hold of it, edge of the area, then tries to tee it back up, then waits and then nudges it in the end to Jensen, gets it back. Donovan looks to go down the outside, plays it into Yarmaluk. Now Donovan's got it once more. He's about 15 yards from the edge of the area. Former Birmingham man then guides it back towards the halfway line, and Brentford looks to build once more. Pinnock goes forward, plays it into Nelson. Nelson travels down the left. Now Hickey, centre field is Yarmaluk, who gets it back to Hickey, who's going down the left. There was a little kick out there by Dawson on the edge of the area, and that's going to be a free kick wide left of centre. Yeah, that was a cheap free kick actually Dawson give away there. Brentford 3 or 4 nice little short passes, not really gaining too much in terms of territory, but in the end when Jensen just prodded that ball forward for Hickey, Dawson foolishly just sort of put his hand on his shoulder, down he goes, and he gets a free kick just wide of the corner of the 18-yard box, 2 or 3 yards wide of it. Yep, and that's an opportunity for Jensen or Janalt to swing it in. Interestingly, I mean, it did make it even more like a proper cup tie, the fact that Paul Dawson, throwing himself all over the place, did sort of play half of the game with a Terry Butcher style headband. He did, yeah, he did, you're right. Here is, the wind is quite up, isn't it, down pitch side. You can see that just by the rippling of all the shirts on the players' backs. And we were down there earlier on, and I said to you as I was coming up the stairs, I'm definitely putting a hat on when we get up there. Here's Jensen's free kick in towards the near post, touched by Collins. It comes off the defender, then I think it hit Furo after it was smashed goalwards by Jensen, and it was cleared away by Macclesfield, and maybe Brentford held them out then by blocking the effort from Jensen right at the end. Yeah, it was a flat delivery towards the near post from that angle, and it looked like it was bobbling around. It was waiting for a red and white shirt to maybe tuck it away, but in the end it was a blue and white shirt that just hacked it clear. Well, Collins had the first effort. Jensen's effort was certainly going in the goal. I think his teammate got in the way and blocked it. Right, well done. Yeah. It remains 0-0. You're listening to Talksport. We played 20 minutes here at Moss Rose. The ballers now with Brentford or on the attack, and it's the small, diminutive but skillful Rommel Donovan digging out across towards the far post, and Collins was trying to get on the end of that. It's a good header away by Fensham, and then Dawson shrugs Jensen off the ball, strides forward over the halfway line, tries to play it to Duffy. There's a stumble by Yano, who then brings down Duffy. That's got to be a yellow card. Yeah, I would have thought so. Yeah, he's getting a yellow card, quite right. There's going to be a free kick as well to Macclesfield on this right-hand side. But as you say, it was a great break. It was a really fast break, actually. Dawson did well to travel with the ball. And he looked to his right to find Luke Duffy. And it looked like that Janelt was favourite to actually get there and intercept. But he lost his footing. He just sort of stumbled and fell to the floor. And then in doing so, just jumped across the path of Luke Duffy, bringing him down and conceding a free kick about 40 yards out. And it's wide of the 18-yard box. Well, he assisted one of the most famous goals in Macclesfield history, Luke Duffy, in the last round. He actually had trials when he was younger at Crystal Palace, who they've already knocked out, and Brentford. And here he is on the ball to take the free kick on the right-hand side. Edmondson is standing over it as well, but Duffy looks the favourite. An in-swinging ball, which will then swing out towards the edge of the area. I'll just re-spot this because the referee has decided that it's not quite on the line that was indicated. So if Edmondson takes it, it'll go in towards the near post. If it's Duffy, it will go swinging out and away from the goalkeeper, who's come and claimed very easily. It was a bit too close to him, really.
Yeah.
And he's picked it out of the sky, Valdemarson, and Brentford survived.
Yep, Luke Duffy's whipped in delivery with his right foot. It was just always a little too close to Valdemarson, and he comfortably came and grabbed that.
I think it's a massive blow for the hosts that their top scorer, Danny Elliott, the man with 16 goals out, injured tonight and not available as Mellor tries to charge down. A bit of another misfield by the Brentford defence, and then a missed kick by Valdemarson, which ends up about 10 metres in front of us. Is thrown back by one of the FA representatives down in the front row.
3 or 4 times, Sam, that they've tried to play it square across the 18-yard box, Brentford's defenders. Made a hash of it pretty much every time.
Edmondson has it on the corner of the box on the right-hand side. It's poked back down towards Osborne, who lifts it into the channel. Fensom goes alongside Hickey. Hickey got the final touch. He's trying to protect it. Digs out a clearance, but it's going to be picked up by Edmondson or Osborne again. Osborne into Edmondson, who turns it round the corner, gets it back into the path of Heathcote. It's launched into the sky and it goes out on this near side. It's away for a throw into Brentford. It's 0-0. Talksport 23 gone. You're listening to the FA Cup Game Day on Talksport with McDonald's. Order delivery on the McDonald's app from 11 a.m. 18 plus. Fees apply to delivery orders, subject to availability. Price may vary.
Yep, and after 23 minutes, make no mistake, the Brentford boys under no illusions that this Macclesfield team are here. They're in their faces. They're competing very well, and that they need to find another gear, the Premier League team.
Keith Andrews said he's done his homework. He says his preparation for this game was just as intense and as robust as it was for the Arsenal game, but they've thrown the ball away here. Hickey trying to throw it into Yarmulke. Mellor was into his face straight away, causing him problems, and that closing down that they're doing in those tight areas where Brentford are a little bit vulnerable, the pressing in the corner has actually come off for them a few times now.
It has, yep, and they get encouraged by that each time that they get a foot in and break up Brentford's possession. It gives them reason to do it again and again.
Bureau a little bit over elaborate with his attempted clearance. It was pinched by Macclesfield, and Dawson gets it back to Borthwick Jackson. Dyed blonde hair now, sending the ball through the middle of the pitch, looking to try and work it out to the left hand side, and it goes through to the goalkeeper Valdemarson. Borthwick Jackson actually, who was part of the Manchester United squad that won the FA Cup in 2016. He was actually playing in Poland before joining Macclesfield last month. He's back in the northwest now.
It's colder here than it is in Poland, Sam, at the minute.
But I'm going to Bosnia in midweek to follow Crystal Palace, and apparently it's like 10 degrees warmer than it is here.
Wow.
A ball forward by Fensom, down towards the right, Mellor to chase. It's away by Duffy after the clearance from Pinnock. It's loose on halfway. Hickey chests it down, collected by Yarmulke and sent back by Pinnock all the way to his goalkeeper. They haven't been able to find any rhythm in an attacking sense, Brentford.
No, they haven't, no. Because again, I think they're just finding it difficult to thread those passes together deep in their own midfield area. Can't really find Jensen. He's the one that can prompt those forward boys probably better than anybody else.
4-1-4-1 for Macclesfield. Means that Jensen is marshalled. What brilliant feat that is from Lacey, who manages to tease the ball out towards this near side. Hickey trying to win it, and it's kept in brilliantly by Edmondson, who does superbly, then tries to play a crossfield ball which is blocked by Yanal, but didn't he do well to keep it in the first place? Duffy wins the throw on the right hand side. Macclesfield up for it, certainly causing a little bit of pain here for the Premier League side, who haven't quite found their rhythm here. They found it almost as difficult as Crystal Palace did, just to find their feet. Fensom to take the throw down the right hand side. Mellor showing for it. He's holding off Pinnock. He chests it down inside the area, but Pinnock manages to clear. It's over the head of Yarmulke, but Fensom's going to go for the header and win it. Then Duffy chests it down, runs into Yanal. Yanal just about manages to get hold of it, then adds a bit of poise to the situation, plays it infield to Yarmulke, and then he sprays a lovely pass out to Donovan over on the far side, and Brentford are out, and they're on the attack down the right hand side through the Ramel. Donovan holding the ball up, but shepherded well by Lacey, and it goes back to the halfway line.
He's played well, actually, Ramel Donovan. I think he's looked sharp, and he's got that neat, tidy, close control that is actually important on a surface like this, and each time he's gone into his feet, he's took good care of it.
Nelson played round the corner by Jensen, trying to get into a left wing position, cuts back, plays it to the edge of the area. Jensen looks up, needs someone to nudge it through to. Yarmaluk is buzzing around, so is Janholt. The ball goes back to the halfway line and it's collected by Pinnock, and Brentford will build again. And Macclesfield have already banked £100,000 from televised TV games, and getting through to this round of the competition will bank another 127 if they can get through tonight. Here is Donovan trying to stop that from being up for consideration. Into Nelson, edge of the D, just left side. Needs support, and it comes from Hickey, who cuts in, releases Reece Nelson. It goes all the way back to the halfway line, and it's with Pinnock once again. Brentford in control of possession at the moment.
Yeah, neat and tidy, patient football from Brentford. Just trying to disturb that Macclesfield back line, just pull those defenders around a little bit, but each time they get close to the edge of the 18-yard box, the movers broke down.
Neither team has had a shot on target in the game yet. Here is Yarmaluk, quick feet, plays it out to the left. Janholt with a chance to cross. He does. A header from Furo, but he just got something on it, and he didn't direct it well enough towards goal, and it went flying behind and away for a goal kick away to our left-hand side. It's still Macclesfield 0, Brentford 0 on Talksport. 28 minutes gone, and Keith Andrews just having a quick word down in front of us with Matthias Jensen.
He is, yeah, tactically just trying to get a little few pointers across. That last little ball in from Janholt was met nicely by Furo, but long way out. It was on his head. He was almost at the edge of the penalty area. He just tried to steer it towards the goal. It was never going to trouble Max Dearnley.
Hasn't had anything to do so far, Max Dearnley. He's been a bit of a spectator. It remains 0-0, but Furo is trying to put pressure once again on Heathcote and Fensham, and Fensham nudges it out and away for a throwaway to our left-hand side. John Rooney just standing on the touchline. Interestingly, the dugouts are set back in the stands here, about 5 yards from the perimeter of the pitch, and the two managers are the only ones that are allowed to go and stand in front of the advertising holdings to get their message across. Lacey intercepts before the ball can reach Donovan, but it pops up in front of him and then shoots off his shin and goes out for a throw-in on the halfway line. Played on 4G surfaces,
yes, I think over the years I have done a few times. Don't ask me where, Sam.
You played at Luton and Oldham back in the day. Do you remember that? They were like awful. Yes,
exactly
right.
Pitches, well, the second bounce was a header at Luton when it first went down, let me tell you. Right, not the first. The second bounce was still like 15 foot up in the air, so back in those days they were rock hard and they were very unrealistic. These are a lot better nowadays, these surfaces.
Here is Nathan Collins, the captain tonight of Brentford, sending it down the right side, looking for Donovan. Donovan gets towards the edge of the area. A little trick to try and take on Lacey, who's done brilliantly so far, I think. And the ball is cleared from midfield by Osborne, and he tried to find and release Mellor. Didn't quite come off for him. And Brentford have it back on the edge of the centre circle. But they can't get set. They can't get it under control. The ball does run a little bit quicker off the surface, especially after was a teeming rainstorm we had about half an hour before we went on air at 7 o'clock tonight. And I think that's just added to a little bit of the juiciness of the pitch. Here's Hickey picking up from the left-hand side. Away by Heathcote to halfway. Mellor picks it up. He's got Pinnock for company. He tucks it infield to Duffy. Duffy gets it back to Fensham, who sends it down the channel. Edmondson runs towards it, doesn't get there. It's cleared away by Hickey, and then it's cleared by Fensham again into the right channel. And Mellor is a willing runner. He gets down towards where Pinnock is trying to defend it. He shields it well, the Jamaican. Plays it back towards the edge of the area, but it's cut out on the edge of the box by Edmondson, then played across almost to Dawson, and Brentford dicing with death a little bit, just about piece their way out and move up the pitch, Andy.
Just about there. They very nearly took one or two passes too many on the edge of their own box and almost paid the price.
31 gone. Reece Nelson right side trying to get into the box. A deflection almost steers into the path of Furo, cleared away by Borthwick Jackson. Macclesfield now on the back foot. From one end to another, this game sways in the FA Cup fourth round, live on Talksport. It's Jensen from distance, straight into the body of Borthwick Jackson. Comes back out of Collins, who steers it into the path of Donovan, who takes it, kills it with one touch, guides it back to Jensen. Jensen's cross into the area, headed away by Heathcote. And then Hickey wrestling Duffy to the floor. Again, he's going to find himself in trouble with Darren England, the referee.
Well, he won't get too many more, will he? Aaron Hickey there, because again he's just lunging into Luke Duffy when Duffy was trying to get across the ground and counter. Again, Brentford just in that last third, whether it's one pass too many or whether the quality's not quite there. But at the moment, they're just a little bit short in that area, and that's the area of their team usually, which is so exciting and so good to watch. Well, tonight there's some newer faces, some guys perhaps that haven't played together too much before. I'm not sure if they have this front three, Sam, but
no.
At the moment they're finding it difficult to make any real headway.
Well, Furo's making his debut tonight, so it's a new experience for him and for the team behind him as well, as Dawson tries to push the ball forward in the right fullback position. Coyote immediately releases it forward into Yarmulke. Good turn by him, and he gets away from not one but two Macclesfield jerseys before finding the feet of Matthias Jensen, who sends it wide to the right, and Donovan's got another chance to run at the defence, and now Coyote on the overlap produces a cross. It goes out for a corner over on the far side. It remains 0-0.
Better football from Brentford there, nice and neat and tidy, but also with a bit of purpose to it. Good run from Coyote on the overlap, and he forces the corner on that far side. And again, I think this is an area for Brentford as well, with Pinnock, with Collins. They've got some big lads in there. Get that delivery right.
17 years ago, John Rooney reached the third round with Macclesfield Town. He reached it with Stockport just 6 years ago as well as a player. He's managing in the fourth round for the first time, and he'll be absolutely delighted with the opening 33 minutes that his team produced here at Moss Rose. They're crowding the 6-yard box as they did on Thursday night to David Raya. They're getting in and around Max Dearnley here, the Brentford players, who are attacking the goal away to our left. The referee, Darren England, just having a word with Furo and Lacey, I think. And then they'll go back into that 6-yard box and try and reposition themselves for the cross which is coming in from the far side. Matthias Jensen will take it.
Everything coming under the crossbar. Look at the traffic around Max Dearnley. Everybody right on top of the goalkeeper here.
As it was on Thursday night, and it caused Arsenal problems. And it's another near post corner which is flicked into the air and then sent back across the face of goal. And steered goalwards by Furo. He still didn't go out. It's back into the 18-yard box from the wide left position, and then it comes back out to the edge of the penalty area, and they build again. Donovan trying to get to the edge of the box from the left side. Aaron Hickey takes over. His right-footed cross is steered away by Mellor, but it'll run out to the far side, and Janholt back to Matthias Jensen. Jensen threatens to cross it, but then sends it back to Janholt instead. Then Jensen gets it back. Janholt once more, and then all the way back to Yarmulke. And then he takes a couple of taps forward before launching across into the box, which is steered away by Dawson. And it goes out for a throw-in over on the far side. Let's go off to the CBS Arena in Coventry and find out how the Moose is getting on, because he's got a big game to keep us in touch with tonight. The top of the Championship. How are you getting on, Ian?
5 minutes gone. Coventry nil, Middlesbrough nil. Hadji Wright's already hit a post for Coventry, and there's been a shot over the top from Morgan Whittaker for Borough. It's Coventry nil, Middlesbrough nil, live on Talksport 2.
Yeah, live on Talksport 2. If you want to listen to it, you can get the app. You can flick between the two stations, and you can listen to the commentary with Joe Shannon and Adrian Clark of that huge game in the Championship tonight. Of course, Middlesbrough top of the table at the moment, Coventry second, and Coventry have allowed their lead at the top of that division to dwindle over the past couple of months. Here it's 0-0 between Macclesfield of the 6th tier of English football, National League North, and Brentford, 7th in the Premier League. 117 places between them, but I tell you what, it doesn't look like it so far tonight. Here's Hickey down the left, trying to get into a crossing position, being marshalled by Osborne. Gets to the byline, brilliant cross into Reece Nelson, who shoots, and it's saved brilliantly down to his right by the goalkeeper Dearnley. Given away again, and then picked up on this near touchline by Donovan, who tries to take it away and then can't get round Luke Duffy. Was there a foul there? The referee says no. The ball goes out of play, and I think actually Donovan picked it up thinking he'd got the free kick, which he wasn't. And it's going to be a free kick to Macclesfield instead.
Yeah, first time really Brentford have actually got behind Macclesfield, got right to the dead ball line. Aaron Hickey whipped a ball across, and there was Reece Nelson, decent touch right onto his right foot, hit the shot well towards that near post. Max Dearnley gets down well to his right just to make sure he's got plenty behind it, but that's the first time we've really seen anything looking a little menacing from Brentford.
I think they may have spent some of that $100,000 they've got so far on a couple of new light bulbs. because the ones above our head is now flickering like we're having a laser show. Either way, Macclesfield will launch the free kick upfield from the right full-back position. Max Durnley, the goalkeeper, gets it long and high and up in the air, headed away by Pinnock. It's straight out of play off a cameraman, and it goes out for a throw-in on the halfway line. Very tight to the pitch here, and there's a bank of photographers all waiting away to our right, just looking to get that snap of that Macclesfield goal. That's what they want. Away to our right-hand side, they're all lined up with their lenses trained, and actually the best of the action really probably has come down that end. Paul Dawson's effort just flicking past the post. At the other end, they did have a great chance when Matthias Jensen's effort was cleared off the line by his own player as Brentford went forward. Mellor and tries to nick it off the toes of Janol, who then runs into another blue wall, and the ball flicks kindly for Dawson in the middle of the pot. And he gets a free kick for a foul by Janol.
Yeah, if there's any battling, if that ball's bobbling around, you can bet your life Paul Dawson is right in the thick of it. He was again there. If any of those Brentford boys in the middle of the pipe, they just labour or just delay with their decision, then invariably he's snapping at their ankles trying to get that ball back for his team. He does well. Free kick to Macclesfield right on the halfway line.
Yeah, a step inside the Brentford half. And they'll be sent forward by Osborne towards the far side, looking for Heathcote, headed away by the Brentford defence. It'll break on this near touchline for a throw into Macclesfield, about 7 or 8 yards now inside opposition territory. And it's in the hands of Fenson in front of the fourth official, who is Tom Neal tonight. He's having a little word with Fenson. Rooney being chanted at by the Macclesfield supporters. He replaced Robbie Savage when Sav went off to Forest Green Rovers. Ball headed into the air as the ball is cleared over on the far side by Lacey. Lacey gets hold of it. There's a bit of a push there by Donovan. And it's cleared away.
Do you know, it's got a similar feel, this game, Sam. Similar feel to the Palace one. Palace having most of the ball, as Brentford have had, without really doing enough to perhaps really worry Macclesfield. And we're edging ever so closer towards half-time. I think John Rooney will be delighted. Plenty of commitment, plenty of effort, not allowing Brentford to pick their passes, get their head up, giving them no time in possession on the ball. So in that respect, they've got everything right. The only thing perhaps Macclesfield haven't done well enough is the ball into Damani Mellor up front hasn't always been particularly accurate. And they need a better service into him so as others can go and join in.
Yep, it's still 0-0, and whilst it's still 0-0, and we are now 5 minutes before half-time, and there's every chance that we can still get the cup upset, which all the neutrals probably have tuned in for tonight, but maybe not the Brentford fans, and they looking for an offside flag on the far side, Macclesfield. That's not going to come their way because Donovan is escaping. Then Jensen gets it into the centre, but it's blocked by Lacey, and it goes out for another corner. Akil Housen over on the far side, allowing that to go.
Yeah, that was a decent ball actually from Janel. He turned Macclesfield around, just clipped it over the top of that back line. Ramel Donovan sprinting onto it. I thought he looked like he was just offside, and again, obviously not going to get that this evening, those sort of decisions, so it is a Brentford corner.
Yeah, they arrive in great form away from home as well. Winners in 5 of the last 6 on the road. They know how to deal with a hostile crowd away from home. Let's see if they can do that here. They've got a corner which is in front of Max Durnley, who comes and catches and actually almost lost it in his hand. I was going to say catches and then, he's lost it, but then he's got it again. And he manages to clear.
Second attempt for Max Durnley on that one, but that's okay.
A little bit greasy.
Yep.
It slipped out of his fingers for a moment, but he managed to get hold of it the second attempt, and it's cleared away up into the Brentford half of the field. It bounces out of play and goes straight for a throw. And I think John Rooney will look back on this first half if they get to half-time at 0-0 and think this is an absolutely superb job.
Very good. I think it's gone very much according to plan and to the script for John. Mentioned about his players are getting tight. They're denying Brentford space, picking up any of the loose balls.
Here on the right side, Duffy trying to get down the flank and get a ball into the box, but Hickey is there to prod it clear, and it goes out for a throw-in level with the edge of the area. The closing down's been really good when they've needed to engage. They haven't gone hell for leather, herring all over the pitch, man for man.
Nope.
They've picked their moments to go and close down, conserved a little bit of energy, and they'll probably have to do that, really, because this is only a couple of minutes before half-time. There's a very long way to go in this tie yet. And remember, we'll have extra time and penalties if it's all square at the end of 90. A ball picked up by Duffy on the right side, but he's dispossessed by Janop, who's in the left full-back position trying to clear. And it's another opportunity for Macclesfield to get the ball in the box. Fensham, who is the club's second longest serving player after Brandon Lee, has been with a team that has won 3 promotions in 4 years, throws it into Edmondson, who's fouled from behind. It's going to be a free kick.
Yeah, in a dangerous area, just wide of the 18-yard line, 10 yards wide of it, but in that perfect area to whip something in between penalty spot and 6-yard line. Just a little bit careless, conceding free kicks. Brentford got to be careful there, trying to win it, of course. But you don't want to give away cheap free kicks in this sort of area.
Yeah, Paul Dawson scored from a set piece, the opener against Crystal Palace, but Brentford have conceded the joint fewest set-piece goals in the Premier League this season. They're usually pretty adept at defending them, although it's a slightly different lineup tonight. It's going to be Edmondson to take the free kick, wide on the right, left-footed. It's in towards the near post. Pamela tried to get on it. Duffy strikes it, and it hits the shins of Hickey and goes behind and away for a corner kick away to our right-hand side. Another good chance.
Yep. And all the Macclesfield fans in front of us up on their feet applauding their team. Again, they sense something can happen from corners, from wide free kicks. They get that feeling that if the delivery is right, then it could be a real key moment.
Ball play to Edmondson, short. He sends it into the near post again. The delivery wasn't right that time, and it's cleared away. He then scurries back to win it on halfway before Donovan can get there, and then it's turned over the top and sent wide towards Duffy, and Duffy's going to get there. First time ball into the box, and before Mellor can reach it, it's cleared away by Ethan Pinnock. Back it comes to Edmondson. Now it's on to Dawson again. Skips past one challenge and tries to release it. The second one won it back for Brentford, and they turn it over and start to move forward and do so at pace. It's picked up on the left-hand side by Nelson. Nelson sends it wide. Coyote takes over now. And Brentford, who find themselves level with Macclesfield going towards half-time, just trying to find a little late flurry at the end of the first 45 here. Donovan skips away from the challenge of Heathcote, plays it wide towards the left, picked up by Hickey now. Hickey now for Brentford on the attack. And then Donovan with a cross which tries to unsettle the back line, but it goes well over the top of everyone and straight out of play, and it's out for a goal kick away to our left-hand side. And you never know, Macclesfield might get to half-time.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to. It really does. I wonder whether Keith Andrews half-time. I wonder whether Ouattara, Keane Lewis Potter, someone like that, someone else to come on up front. Someone with maybe just a little bit more real hard running power. I think Donovan's very useful with the ball at his feet, as is Reece Nelson. I'm wondering second half maybe they might need someone when the ball is knocked over the top of Macclesfield, someone who might be favourite to get on the end of it. Ouattara would certainly fit that bill. 1 minute of added time. And there are some big hitters on the bench for Brentford tonight. And Ouattara is one of those. King Lewis Potter. And they've got Vandenberg and Enrico Henry on there too. They've got some youngsters, Luca Bent, Oliver Shield, the right back, Josh Stevenson, the centre back. Might not need them if Donovan can make the most of this situation. He runs down the right, across comes Osmore, pinches the ball before it becomes a problem, takes it to the corner flag, does really well, sends it long up towards the halfway line. Collins juggles with it, gets it back for Brentford on halfway. Still 0-0. John Rooney urging his team to get out and move up the pitch. And they've done exactly that, and they've survived to half-time. And Brentford haven't drawn back-to-back games since September. They tend to kill games off or get beaten. A draw here takes us to extra time. Not a replay tonight. We will have penalties if necessary as well. Macclesfield much the happier with that first 45 minutes. Duffy's effort early on went over the bar. Dawson with a shot which flashed the outside of the post. There was a scramble away to our left in front of the Macclesfield goal, where ended with Jensen's shot being cleared by his own man in front of the Macclesfield goalkeeper. But I think it's a more positive first 45 minutes
for the team from the National League North than it has been for the Premier League giants. At half-time, it is Macclesfield 0, Brentford 0.
Sam, thank you very much. Yes, it's certainly been a very positive first half from Macclesfield. Let's look over it with Andy Townsend then, who's been part of our commentary team here. And it's the same sort of thing that we saw against Crystal Palace. It's that high energy, it's that pressing that we're seeing from Macclesfield. They're making it very awkward for Brentford, who just can't get any rhythm going in this game at all.
Not really, Natalie, no. Most of the Brentford possession's been on the halfway line, maybe 10 yards into Macclesfield's half. But whenever they get the chance to maybe go into Furo's feet or in and around the edge of the box, it kind of breaks down a little bit. One or two little crosses that have come in. We've seen a shot from Matthias Jensen, one from Reece Nelson. But that aside, in the last third, Brentford have been disappointed. And it's got exactly that feel. Now, that's why I wonder, now, look, because of this game can go the distance tonight, obviously, Keith Andrews has got to bear that in mind in terms of changes. He does have other options on the bench. I just think they need another dimension up front, Brentford. They need a little bit more tonight. And I think as this game becomes stretched, then all of a sudden that added dimension just might make the difference. But up to now, Macclesfield, tons of hard work on the front foot, squeezing, forcing errors out of Brentford, capitalising on them, trying to get it in the box, looking awkward and dangerous to deal with from corners and free kicks. Everything to play for here.
It's interesting when you talk about the Brentford forward line in particular. It's a new forward line. Kay Furo making his debut. It's in some ways on paper you think, oh, this should be an easy one for him. It's a National League, non-league team. But this seems very difficult. It already feels like you're thinking this is not a fun night for him. It's
a tough one for him. It is. Look, the surface. The surface isn't ideal and isn't perhaps conducive for Brentford. Brentford don't always like going into feet. They like to go beyond and round and over teams because they're very, very good at that. And this surface, if you do that too often, the ball skips off the top and it will go out for a goal kick. So they're trying to be a little more neat and tidy and in their build-up play, but it doesn't favour a young striker making his debut who wants some service and wants to get on the end of something in the box. Not had anything that really has he, in fairness to him. And I just wonder whether or not Keith Andrews will be tempted to make a change now. I don't think it'll be long. I don't think he'll wait long if he doesn't do it at half-time.
You could argue, Brentford aren't playing again until next Saturday when they face, or this Saturday coming, when they face Brighton at home. Is there an argument to think, well, why has he not started with a stronger lineup to then try and get that tie done within the 90, could even be within the first half, to then take off some of those players? I understand some you might not want to try out on a pitch like this.
Sure.
But there does seem an element, and we see it across the whole of the FA Cup fourth round. We've seen a lot of it, plenty of teams making changes. But those teams that haven't got a midweek game, does it sort of surprise you in a way?
A little bit, it does. Particularly, the last thing you want to be, the last thing the Brentford boys want to be is have another giant killing.
Yeah.
And the embarrassment of that, because it's something that stays with you forever. Those Palace boys, as much as winning the thing last year was amazing for them, they won't forget what happened here a month ago in a hurry either. So you want to guard against that. Look, he's selected the starting 11 that he's got, and I don't really think it's quite worked up front. I think Ramel Donovan's nice and neat and busy and tidy and trying to sort of take people on around the edge of the box. Reece Nelson, just the odd little bits here and there. And as we said, Kay Furo hasn't really had a lot of the ball. But at the moment, Brentford need more. They need more in the last third. They need to speed their play up a little bit. And we'll see if they can do that at the start of the second half.
Yeah, it might not surprise you to read the stats with Brentford having a 78% ball possession. They've had 7 shots to Macclesfield's 3, but just the one shot on target, that going the way of the visitors this evening. But Paul Dawson had a great chance. He just shot wide.
He did.
And you look at someone like a Paul Dawson and this Macclesfield team. We talked about him beforehand. We mentioned him before. He just epitomises everything that you want in a captain who is battling out there.
He wants to take free kicks. He wants to get on the end of headers. If there's a penalty, he wants to go and get it. He's one of them, isn't he?
Yes.
He is. He really is. If there's a tackle,
Captain Fantastic.
He is. If there's a tackle to be made, he wants to put his foot, and he's the first in there. He's just got that real infectious nature which rubs off on others around him. There's been some other good performances. The boys at the back have been neat and tidy, and Edmondson, I think Luke Duffy's done very well down the right side. I think he's been really prominent. So I would think John Rooney will be saying, well done, get your breath, get a drink and get ready to go again and expect Brentford to be better. I'm sure they'll be thinking that Brentford are going to go up a notch and up a gear. So they've got to be ready for that.
Yeah, for all the talk of Brentford doing their homework, it feels like they definitely have to go back and look over their homework because it hasn't quite clicked and worked for them in this first 45 minutes. But it is goalless, and there's still plenty to play for going into that second half. And we could have extra time and penalties as well, which could decide this tie once more. Andy, for now, thank you very much. You're listening to Kickoff Live on Talksport with McDonald's. Order delivery on the McDonald's app from 11 a.m. It's 18 and over. Fees apply to delivery orders subject to availability. Prices may vary. We'll continue to talk about this game and bring you an update of what's happening at the CBS Arena as Coventry take on Middlesbrough.
Kick off on Talksport with Ladbrokes. 18plusgambleaware.org.
For years, petrol set the benchmark. Hybrids cost more. Efficiency paid extra. Today, BYD reset the benchmark. Electric intelligence costs less than petrol. Advanced technology, real efficiency, no compromises. The BYD Sea Lion 5 DMI Super Hybrid SUV from just $29,995. Find out more and book your test drive at byd.com/UK.
Kick off on Talksport with Ladbrokes. 18plusgambleaware.org.
Selling your car can be super simple if you choose We Buy Any Car. Now in their 20th year, they're on average 11 minutes away, so help is never far. If only they could make finding a good driving song simpler. No. Oh, definitely not. We Buy Any Car. Selling made simple. To sell your car today, enter your reg number now at WeBuyAnyCar.com.
Dearest listeners, rumour has it that Sky and Netflix are waltzing side by side. So society may delight in the romance of season 4 of Bridgerton on Netflix, then discover long-buried secrets in Under Salt Marsh on Sky. Get Sky and Netflix together for the handsome price of £15 a month. Sky. Believe in better.
Prices may change during new 24-month term. £21 a month after. Requires Sky Stream and broadband minimum speed 25 megabits per second. 18 plus terms apply.
With multiple markets on all of the action, Zaggers and odds, whatever your passion. Build your own bet on a small local derby, and there's live in-play betting if you're late to the party. Sign up is easy on all your devices. Exclusive promotions and bet-boosted prices. In the no punters are sharing this tip. Get the king of the app pack. Talksport bet is a hit.
18plusgambleaware.org.
Imagine a place where you can escape for a day. Get immersed in a world of rooms, inspiration and expertise. Where you can laze in luxury accommodation. And kids can feast from 95 pence. Tickets are free to everyone and include all the attractions. You've just imagined a day out at IKEA. IKEA, the wonderful everyday.
It might be cold outside, but things are really warming up at the Wren Winter Sale, with red-hot prices on our high-quality, fully built kitchens and fitted bedrooms. Right now, there's up to 60% off fully built kitchens and all bedroom units, plus up to 7 years interest-free credit. Made for making you feel warm inside, whatever the weather. Wren, made for living.
Visit your nearest Wren showroom. Offers apply when you buy 5 or more kitchen units or 3 or more bedroom units. Finance subject to status and minimum spend.
Nobody knows Vegas like BetMGM, and we know just how loud it can get. So sometimes it's important to turn it down or take a break. Because a little pause keeps the fun in play. To find out more about BetMGM's safer gambling tools and how we can support you to keep your play safe, visit the safer gambling area of our app or website. BetMGM. 18 plus, please gamble responsibly.
FA Cup Live on Talksport with McDonald's. The Big Arch is here to stay at McDonald's with its very own delicious sauce. Available from 11 a.m. subject to availability. Price and participation may vary.
Stamina, celebrity, Lightspeed weeknight football.
Kick off live on Talksport.
This is Kickoff on Talksport with Ladbrokes. It's 18 and over, gambleaware.org. Goalless it is here at Moss Rose in this FA Cup fourth round tie between Macclesfield and Brentford. But there has been a goal in our live championship game on Talksport 2 between Coventry and Middlesbrough. Which way has this one gone? Ian Abrahams.
Coventry 1, Middlesbrough 0. Hadji Wright hit the post in the second minute with a header, but he wasn't to be denied about 20 minutes later when Jack Rodoni, right-hand side of the penalty area, feathered the ball towards the edge of the 6-yard box. I couldn't see really if it was a pass or a shot, but it didn't matter because Wright was in front of his defender and he slid the ball beyond the goalkeeper into the back of the net. Coventry really up for this, as you'd expect. 128 days on top of the championship till Middlesbrough took control last Monday night, and they want to get it back tonight and in front of their home fans in what has been a terrific opening 25 minutes or so. They now have the lead through Hadji Wright, their American striker. The game is live on Talksport 2. It's Coventry 1, Middlesbrough 0.
Ian, thank you very much. We'll have regular updates from Ian then throughout that one. But right now, let's bring in the half-time odds with Ladbrokes.
Odds update on Talksport with Ladbrokes. Get a free bet every week of the season and a big boost every day. That's Ladisfaction. Minimum £5 bet. Conditions apply. 18 plus gambleaware.org.
OK, right now, in the 90 minutes, you can get Macclesfield to win at 7-1. The draw is a 16-5 shot and a Brentford win odds on at 5-2. Reece Nelson, if you fancy him getting on the score sheet to score any time, that was once 2-1. It's now 11-4. That was the latest odds with Ladbrokes. It's 18 and over, gambleaware.org.
Odds update on Talksport with Ladbrokes. Get a free bet every week of the season and a big boost every day. That's Ladisfaction. Minimum £5 bet. Conditions apply. 18 plus gambleaware.org.
Now, tomorrow night, Kickoff takes you around the grounds, keeping you up to date with all the EFL action and Champions League playoff games too. Adrian Durham is your host for that one. And then on Wednesday, we bring you live commentary of Wolves against Arsenal in the Premier League. A rare midweek fixture in the Premier League this week, of course. And Adrian Durham, once more, is your host. The substitutes are sort of warming up currently out here at Moss Rose for awaiting the second half, of course. We'll wait to see if any changes will be made.
Doesn't look like it, Nat,
no.
so far, does it? We don't see anybody that's
no one's
really
taking their bibs off,
really
getting ready.
Been put through their paces at all, no. So it looks like that. I think probably both coaches are going to start the second half as they finish the first, and then it'd be interesting to see who goes first, which of the two coaches is going to make a change.
John Rooney's going to be absolutely delighted with that first half performance, isn't he?
He's going to be thrilled with that. Really, really. The only thing he might want a little bit more of, as I mentioned, is something into the striker, Damani Mellor, a little bit better, because he does a lot of very unselfish running, that boy, and doesn't get a lot of quality into his feet. Isaac Buckley, Ricketts on the far side as well, hasn't really figured too much down Macclesfield's left in the first half. Most of their productive stuff has actually come off the opposite flank. So again, he might be one that will be hoping he'll get a little bit more of it, see a little bit more of it. He probably will, because he'll be closer to the boss and all the fans in the main stand this side. So he is another one who might just want to get involved a bit quicker than he has.
What they've done to Brentford, it was, I mean, obviously I'm talking from a fan's perspective as well. It has looked like at times Brentford have been a bit rattled by Macclesfield.
I think
so. Which was part of the game plan.
100% part of the game plan. And if, for whatever reason, if that first touch isn't great and that ball just gets away from you, then that's where Macclesfield are very good. They're straight into your face, they're pinching it off your toes, and they're knocking 3 or 4 runners past you, trying to get into the box. So they do that really, really well. I think they're very adept at playing on this surface and playing on their opponent's mistakes and understanding the best way to play. If you knock it too far in front of players, it just scoots away from you. So they do it very well.
Macclesfield, you can hear from the roar of the home crowd, are making their way out now. And in the 2 games of Premier League opposition that they have faced so far, and in the 3 halves of football, they are yet to trail in any of those games. They really have been a match for their Premier League opposition so far, if not better, in all fairness. Brentford also now making their way out. A few boos, you can expect that from Macclesfield fans. Let's hand you over to your commentary team then for this second half. It is Andy Townsend who is alongside Sam Matterface.
Well, look, history is against another upset. No non-league side has ever knocked out 2 top division teams in one season since Millwall did it back in 1914. 112 years of history have passed since then, but I think most people were non-league in 1914, and obviously that was just before the start of the Great War, and the league restructured straight after that. But I mean, it would be a historic achievement if they were to do it twice.
It would be outrageous, Sam, it is. But look, they've had a very solid opening 45 minutes. They rarely looked like they were getting pulled around and pulled apart. They're right in the middle of this cup tie, no doubt about it.
No changes at half-time from either of the 2 teams. Brentford in red and white striped jerseys, black shorts, black socks, attacking the goal away to our right, where their fans are housed. And the home team in basically, like, if you can imagine the Arsenal shirt but in blue, that's what it is. Blue bodies, white sleeves, blue shorts and white socks. They're attacking the goal away to our left, and Håkon Valdimarsson is just circling his arms, getting ready for what is a big second half of football. And there's no doubt that fatigue is likely to set in the longer the game goes on. Legs will tire, and it's worth bearing in mind that Macclesfield train only once a week, and that's because of the fixture congestion that they've had. Furo is going down the right side. He's bumped into Heathcote, who has slipped to the floor under a little bit of physicality, and a free kick given in favour of Macclesfield on the edge of the area away to our right. So they start with
Sam.
Durnley in goal, Fensham, Heathcote, Borthwick, Jackson and Lacey the back 4, Dawson, Edmondson, Osborne in midfield with Duffy and Ricketts on the flank, Mellor through the middle, and it's Valdimarsson in goal for Brentford. A back 4 of Coyote, Pinnock, Collins and Hickey, then Janelt, who's been booked, Yarmoliuk and Jensen in midfield, Donovan, who's been quite sprightly on the right hand side, Furo through the middle and Reece Nelson on the left. There's Andy Townsend.
Apologies, Sam, I was just going to say that actually I just saw Nathan Collins serve one directly in behind Macclesfield for Furo to run onto. I think it's going to hold up a little bit for Brentford in this second period. I think the wind is with Macclesfield a bit, and I think that's a good idea. I'm pretty sure we're going to see Brentford playing a little more direct and a little longer.
Valdimarsson comes out to the edge of his penalty area as Janelt directs a header back to him. He bowls the ball into the path of Ethan Pinnock, and we played just over a minute of the second half, and you're listening to Talksport. The ball is picked up by Collins, who strides up over the halfway line into Rico Henry, who tries to squeeze in between 2 Macclesfield players but can't quite get there, and it's picked up on the right hand side by Yarmoliuk, who bounds into Cameron Borthwick Jackson, and it's a free kick away to our right hand side. Donovan's done quite a good job actually on this near side whenever he's got hold of the ball, but what he has lacked maybe is the final ball into the penalty area, which has not been able to hurt the Macclesfield defence.
And he rarely goes down the outside. He's all left foot playing off the right, so his natural instinct's always going to take him into the traffic. He's got very good close control, good feet. Sometimes you're looking for someone to maybe just go on the outside to whip a cross or 2 in.
Brentford 7th in the Premier League, chasing Europe, but they've only reached the FA Cup 5th round once in the last 19 seasons. That should change tonight, but it hasn't been all their own way in the game. Ball thrown in by Coyote, flicked on by Furo, taken down by Heathcote and returned with interest down the middle of the pitch, picked off by captain Dawson, who then looks for the run of Buckley Ricketts, and he can't quite get on the end of it, and it eludes him and goes all the way through to Valdimarsson. Dawson, though, is wrestling for it with Jensen, gets it, feeds it out to Fensham on the far side. His cross into the box, flicked into the air by Duffy, and I just wonder whether or not if he had ducked underneath that, Mellor was behind him.
Even just help it on one more. He's tried to head it in there, Luke Duffy, he's about level with the penalty spot. There's a long way out on his head, and he kind of had to wait for it a little bit. He had to generate all the power on that one. think sometimes in those situations, just hope someone else is behind you. Just flick it on and just keep it alive in the box.
I don't know whether or not there'll be as big a crowd here at the weekend for the visit of Kings Lynn, but they've been in great voice tonight. Jensen trying to steer it forward onto Reece Nelson. Nelson tries to come in field, and again, dogged, rather determined defending by Osborne. Releases the ball for Macclesfield down the left channel. Buckley Ricketts can't chase it and keep it in. It goes out of play and away for a throw in the right full-back position. Still 0-0.
Still 0-0. Good start from Macclesfield again to the second period. That's a lively one from Ethan Pinnock. Back to the goalkeeper there. That was bobbling all over the place.
It's unnecessary as well. From the right-sided throw-in all the way back to his goalkeeper. It's hoisted out of play by Borthwick Jackson as the ball is sent forward by Brentford. And again, they just haven't really been able to settle. As we were saying throughout the first half, that's because of the engagement from the Macclesfield players, getting tight to them whenever the option is there to close down, to force them into errors, and just to put them under a little bit of pressure. And that's not a great ball again out towards Hickey, and it's shut down by Edmondson, and Mellor then plays it behind Duffy, and they get a little bit lucky again, Brentford, who now pick it up with Nelson, looking to steer it over the top for Furo. It's into the channel, but Lacey's going to get there first. His clearance isn't great, and Donovan picks it off. He's got 4 blue shirts around him, but finds Yarmulke, edge of the area. It's worked back to Donovan, who's in the right wing position. Can he get the cross in? He goes to Yarmulke instead, by the byline, through the 18-yard boxes towards Jensen. There's a collision with Duffy. The referee says there's absolutely no shadow of a penalty. It was Hickey, actually, who was engaged by the defender Duffy, and it goes out for a throw on this near side. But a good break by Brentford, and for the first time really they've just a little bit more invention, and Donovan feeding the ball down the inside right channel, and on the underlap Yarmulke making a run to the byline.
Yeah, I think just a little bit more energy and a little bit quicker is what Keith Andrews will have ordered from his players at half time. Come on. I think he realises that Macclesfield are going to be ultra competitive. They'll keep going right to the very end. So it's up to Brentford really to find that extra touch, that extra bit of class, that extra gear.
Do have a bit of depth on the bench that they could use if necessary. Watara we've already mentioned. Coyote has played the ball back towards his goalkeeper. I do think that they do take a bit of a risk with some of their balls back towards their own goal.
Yeah, they do. I think it's that sort of surface that you assume it's going to get there, but it doesn't always find its target.
Collins on halfway as Brentford come forward. Striding the Irishman, clips the ball over the top, but it's going to be a little bit too heavy for Coyote to keep in, is it? No, it holds up for him, and then it's flicked on by Donovan, and then well snuffed out by Borthwick Jackson, who comes into the 6-yard box just as the ball goes across the face of the near post and nudges it out for a throw-in. Might go out for a corner actually on this near side. Goalkeeper's getting a bit of instruction on this near touchline. The Brentford goalkeeper from one of the coaches, Keith Andrews, has come down and sitting in the dugout once again. There's going to be a corner kick on this near side. Yano looking for the ball. Where is it? It's behind you. And he just lost that momentarily, and then another ball's been thrown in from behind the goal.
Just look, Sam, at the amount of traffic around Max Durnley. There must be 10 players literally all within a couple of yards of him, and they are bumping into each other, pulling each other, jostling for position, doing everything they can to put the goalkeeper off.
Yeah, well, he can't get it. He's like almost imprisoned in there as the ball goes to Jensen, short on the corner of the penalty area, and then he evades the defence, gets to the byline, produced across, it's flicked on, it comes back towards Yarmulke, who strikes it into the back of the defender, and he'll go out for another corner over on the far side. Brentford putting a bit of pressure on in the second half. Yeah. We've played just over 7.5 minutes.
And first time really in the game that you sense that Brentford are starting to ask just a few questions. And I think the more they get of these corners, wide free kicks, long throw-in positions, that's really going to start to test and stretch that Macclesfield backline.
They don't lose here very often, Macclesfield, but they don't usually come up against Premier League opposition. And look again, all the jostling for position inside the 6-yard box. It's almost as if they're all sort of hemmed inside that 6-yard box and trying to get out. It's flicked on by Collins towards the far post, and it's poked goalwards by Hickey. Can't get on the end of it. Maybe just got the faintest of touches. It went wide of the goal.
Decent ball in that from Jensen as well. And they got that all-important first touch there, Brentford. There's a lot of bodies in the box. They just about managed to deal with that, Macclesfield.
Let's go off to the CBS Arena in the Championship. Find out what's happening with Talksport here in Abrahams.
5 to break, Coventry 1, Middlesbrough 0. The goal scored by Hadji Wright. Morgan Winters just had a header turned away for a corner. Live on Talksport 2, Coventry 1, Borough 0.
Yeah, you get the commentary by downloading our app, and you can flick between the two stations. And the way things are at the moment, Middlesbrough, who had recently taken Coventry's position at the top of the table, will be usurped themselves, and Coventry will go back into the number 1 spot. Ball cleared by the goalkeeper Durnley. Janolt sort of almost turned his back on that. It came to Duffy. He won it back again, Janolt. And then it's sent back by Fensom into the channel. And again, it holds up slightly. And Buckley Ricketts is chasing it. Across comes Pinnock. It's out of play for a throw into Macclesfield. It might be a Brentford throw, actually. It did take a little nick off of Buckley Ricketts over on that far side. And it's in the arms of Aaron Hickey.
Yeah, he's looked a little uncomfortable, actually, Ethan Pinnock, out there on this surface tonight. Ball's bobbling around, and he's looked a little awkward on the left side of that back four.
His only Premier League appearance since September the 20th was when he played the first 73 minutes of the 2-0 defeat to Arsenal in December. He hasn't played much football, really. No. And he does look a little bit rusty, doesn't he?
He does.
Hickey, back to Pinnock. Slides it back to his goalkeeper, Valdemarson, who nudges it to his right, then clips it up towards the halfway line. Buckley Ricketts can't receive it. Donovan scoops it over his head into the channel, and Borthwick Jackson comes across and clears. Now on the halfway line, Dawson's got it again, and he's sent it down the left for Johnny Mellor to chase afterwards. And to be honest with you, I think Dawson does such a great job, doesn't he, in the middle of the park?
He does.
He looks as if he really means business, doesn't he? Every time he gets hold of the ball, he wants to make something happen, and if he loses it, he's the first one to go and get it again.
Very true. That ball again there was the right idea. It just got away.
Brilliant.
From
Uses his body to get away from Yarmulke, and then tries to play it forward. Draws the foul. Referee says no free kick. And it's picked up by Hickey, and it's brought away again by Brentford. Bit of space now for Yarmulke, who runs and gallops into opposition territory. Through the middle of the pitch, he sends it wide out to Donovan. It's a little bit too wide maybe for Donovan, who eventually controls it, gets to the byline, pokes it back to Yarmulke in the right wing position. He tries to take on the defender, doesn't quite get past him, and then goes back into midfield, where Coyote and Janolt exchange passes before the ball goes back towards the halfway line. It remains 0-0.
Yeah, better ball from Yarmulke there to Donovan, and they'd have had a good chance of whipping something across the 6-yard box.
Donovan into the right wing position again. Yarmulke with a cross towards the far post, and there's no one there to snaffle up the chance. It goes past Nelson and Furo and out the other side. Nelson's got it back left angle of the penalty area. Jensen accelerates down towards the byline, produces a cross towards the far post. They smuggle it goalwards. It takes a double deflection off Furo and then off Donovan and into the arms safely of Durnley, who's a grateful recipient.
Definitely Brentford have gone up a notch. Definitely since the start of the second half. Their attacking players got better pace to it. It's got an edge to it now, which was missing in that first period, but they're just starting to get in behind Macclesfield. There's a little bit more room appearing in the centre of the park too.
Well, you're listening to Game Day live on Talksport from the FA Cup on Talksport with McDonald's. Order delivery on the McDonald's app from 11 a.m. 18 plus. Fees apply to delivery orders subject to availability. Price may vary. Janolt forward, out towards the near side, headed away. It bounces in midfield for Yarmulke, who has it taken off his toes by Edmondson, who comes forward, pushes it into the path of Buckley Ricketts, but again, just a little bit rushed, played it too heavily. It runs off the surface and out of play and away for a throw-in on this near side. I wonder how long it will be before Keith Andrews starts thinking about making changes. We are just 2 minutes from the hour mark.
Yep. I don't think it'll be long, Sam, and I also don't think it'll be long before John Rooney decides to maybe just pep his team up a little bit too. I think he'll have seen Brentford just starting to turn the screw a bit.
Hickey down the left, played in by Nelson. He gallops into opposition territory, produces a low cross into the box. Borthwick Jackson is there, and he steers it before it can reach Kuro, and out of play for another corner to Brentford at 0-0.
Yeah, again, decent move that actually from Brentford down the left. Hickey, again, plenty of time and space. First time ball delivered. Cameron Borthwick Jackson doing well just to cover that near post area, knock it away for another Brentford corner.
And again, the big boys are up from the back. Collins, who almost scored from the last one, just lurking with intent inside the 6-yard box now, looking for his third goal of the season. Now they crowd the goalkeeper as seems to be their tactic. Durnley struggling to find a way through, and the ball goes right under his crossbar into that near post. It's headed away though by Dawson, comes back out to Janol. Left side is Jensen, another chance to cross. He feints to do so, then stops and then tries to take on the defender Lacey. Clips the ball to the far post this time. Furo heads it down. Borthwick-Jackson controls it on the edge of the 6 and then smashes it into the air, and it's out towards this near side. Yarmulke got a bit of an arm there from Edmondson, but held him off well and did finally to push the ball into Donovan. Gets it back again, Yarmulke. His cross is blocked by who else? Dawson. Out of play for a corner away to our right hand side.
Yeah, another decent break from Brentford, this time down the right side. They're getting in behind the fullbacks on both sides of the field now. Dawson again scrambling, throwing himself in front of that Donovan cross before it perhaps found a red and white shirt in the middle of that 6-yard box. But another corner, really starting to ask questions.
Janol to take it, and Ethan Pinnock out from the back. Furo in there. Collins just having a word with Darren England, the referee, saying keep an eye on this lot. Donovan under the goalkeeper's toes. Reece Nelson in there as well, and Coyote and Jensen waiting for the bits and pieces on the edge. It's towards the goalkeeper who tries to sort of flap at it. It was fouled though according to the referee, and the free kick is given inside the 6-yard box. Didn't look as if he just was pushed as he went up to try and push the ball away there.
Yeah, lots of pressure around Max Durnley. I mean, look, as much as you've ever seen from a corner, by the way. And we know how much Arsenal want to pressurise from corners. Brentford are ramping that up another notch here.
Well, I think this will be disappointing for Reece Nelson, that he's being replaced after the hour. Hasn't really affected the game enough. He's coming off to be replaced by the man who got the goal against Arsenal, Keane Lewis Potter, currently enjoying his best ever goal scoring season in the Premier League. He was a £20 million signing from Hull a few seasons ago, and he also got the opener in the 3rd round win against Sheffield Wednesday. He's on now for the final half an hour. What Brentford hope will be the final half an hour.
Yep, and again he has a lovely knack, doesn't he, Keane Lewis Potter, of getting into good areas. We know he can finish as well. We've seen that recently. So he'll be really important now for Brentford as they push on to really kind of take control of this game. We've seen less of Macclesfield as an attacking force really over the last 10 minutes or so.
Nearly 17 minutes of the second half played. The ball has been placed down inside the 18-yard box that Macclesfield are defending. It's smashed upfield by goalkeeper Durnley. A header away by Nathan Collins, but there was an offside flag over on the far side, and it's going to be a free kick which Collins immediately sends forward, and he's looking for the run of Furo, who's in behind the defence. Borthwick-Jackson positions himself well, but Furo's still got hold of it. Jensen has joined the attack, slips it over the top. Donovan trying to keep it alive. He sends it into the 6-yard box, and it's cleared away by Heathcote, who was backpedalling. There was no one in red and white to snaffle that chance, and actually Furo probably should have been in there.
Yeah, good play again from Brentford. It's a terrific bit of defending from Heathcote, because that ball in from Donovan was a really dangerous one. He almost got to the byline, cut it back with his right foot, which he's got to try and do more of. Just Heathcote there to hook it away with his left foot.
And that corner is going to be sent in again by Vitaly Janalt, away to our right-hand side. And Jensen just making sure that the pitch is free of litter. Anything can come onto this pitch, it seems. Here is the corner, away to our right, in front of the Brentford fans. Left-footed, Janalt will send it into a congested 6-yard box, but it doesn't quite reach the 6-yard box, actually. This one's a poor delivery, which is immediately cleared. Picked up again by Jensen right side. Good block by Osborne. It goes out of play and away for a throw on this near side. I think there's been some development at the CBS arena. We'll get there in just a second, but we've got a long throw coming in from Michael Coyote.
We do. Well, we thought we did. He's took it short.
And he's given it to Jensen instead, who's drifted that ball towards the far post. Durnley is backpedaling, and he was a little bit panicky, and he tipped the ball over the top of the crossbar, because I don't know whether the wind caught that at the last minute, but it seemed to curl and dip violently right at the very end from Jensen's delivery.
Wasn't sure, was he there, Max Durnley? Wasn't sure whether just to step forward and come and get it. And in the end, he just kind of had to knock it over the bar for another corner.
Jensen back to Janol. Janol across to Coyote. It wasn't a great ball, and he meant that Coyote couldn't get the cross in. Janol eventually delivers. It's over the head of Collins, headed away by Heathcote, and it's up towards the halfway line. So let's go off to Ian Abrahams at Coventry and find out what's happened.
Half-time, Coventry 1, Middlesbrough 0. The goal scored on 22 minutes by Hadji Wright. Borough have gone close a couple of times. Coventry deserved the lead, though. Second Leeds first, Coventry 1, Middlesbrough 0.
Thank you very much. I don't know if there was a delay on the line there.
Yeah, today, Moose, come on.
Well, it's one of those new arenas. Maybe they haven't plumbed the electricity in properly. Here is Donovan clipping the ball towards the far post. It's headed away by Fensom and then further clear by Duffy. Very intelligent ball down to Osborne, who looks to try and draw the foul from Jensen. The referee says play on. Hickey then takes it over on the far touchline, and Brentford have it back again. It remains 0-0.
I think they've actually started the second half really well, Brentford. Really well. Pretty much Pinnock and Collins on the halfway line now, as we see Nathan Collins striding into Macclesfield territory, but I think they've realised they've got to pick it up. I think there's been a marked improvement in the way that they're going about it.
Absolutely. Certainly there's more intensity about them, and there's more intent about them as well.
Yep.
But Max Durnley's made one save, and that was from Jensen's delivery into the box, which he just panicked about and tipped over the top.
Yeah, they do look dangerous, those corners and wide free kicks, long throw-ins. They look, Brentford, like they can hurt Macclesfield a wee bit from those.
Well, this might run through to Yarmouth inside the penalty area after poor clearance from Lacey. Borthwick Jackson is there to react, though, and he shoots the ball into the sky, and it goes out for a throw-in on this near touchline. It remains 0-0, and there's a problem here for Fensom. Lewis Fensom on the far side has gone down, and he's going to need some treatment. I wonder whether or not they'll have to make a substitution here. Macclesfield, John Rooney just turning around to Francis Jeffers, asking for his advice. Francis Jeffers, the assistant manager, the former Everton player. You'll remember him from Premier League days of yore. He's still a spicy character. He's got a great story about what he did at half-time. As he told to the... You know, because the penalty areas, obviously you can't rough up a penalty area, or you wouldn't think you could rough up a penalty area. No. But you can a little bit if you take the shine off the surface. So he went down when in the half-time break of the Crystal Palace game, as we had a delay here. He went down and told the guy who does the PA with the mascots. They have a bit of fun at half-time.
With the kids at half-time.
Do it in that end in the second half. Take the shine off the surface so that it causes a little bit of a problem. The ball holds up a little bit,
and it might bobble a bit. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
Macclesfield players have come over towards the near side, and they're getting a little bit of encouragement, and we're about to see a change for them, and it looks as if we're going to see James Gale come on, maybe take the place of Mellor up front, which will be a big change. No, he's going to come on instead for Isaac Buckley-Ricketts.
Yeah, who hasn't really got involved this evening. Isaac Buckley-Ricketts, it just hasn't really been his night. It hasn't really come down that left-hand side too often.
They scored twice in Tuesday's win against Leamington, did James Gale. Imagine if he could score tonight. Buckley-Ricketts is off, having scored in the third round, and Gale is on, and there's going to be another couple of changes as well, it looks like, in the not too distant future, because Fensom, I don't think, is going to be able to continue here, Andy.
No, he's been in some difficulty now ever since the ball went out of play. Michael Coyote still has the ball in his hands. He's about to launch a long throw towards the corner of that 6-yard box.
And Macclesfield are a man down at the moment.
They are indeed.
Because Fensom has come off. I think he's maybe hurt a hamstring here. He's tugging the back of his leg. And Coyote, who can't get much distance to run up to the touchline because it's so close to the perimeter, throws the ball in, doesn't get that much distance on it in comparison to what he usually does because of that. And the ball is headed away by Mellor, and then Coyote will pick it up again. He's got beyond Mellor, though. A chance to cross, right-footed into the area. It's headed away at the near post by Dawson. Picked up by Keane Lewis Potter, far side, the left as far as Brentford look at it. And they have it back again. Can they drip this into the area? Lewis Potter, high, crossfield ball towards the near side, away by Mellor. Coyote is there again and skips past him. He needs support. He's got it in shape of Donovan. Donovan down by the byline now in the right wing position as Brentford continue to put the pressure on in this second half. Back to Coyote. Back towards the near side where it's collected by Yarmouth, whose delivery into the box is a poor one. It's cleared away by Cameron Borthwick Jackson.
Yep, again, got to make sure they try and beat that first man. Cameron Borthwick-Jackson always seems to get himself into a really good position, sensing where that ball's going to arrive in the box, and swept it away very well there with his left foot.
Luke Matheson, who played in the game against Crystal Palace, is going to come on and play it right back here for Fensom, who's off. They're still down to 10 players at the moment. They're waiting for the ball to go out of play so they can make the switch. Here's Donovan down the right, taking on Mellor, looking to try and tease him, and then he overruns the ball, runs into Mellor, gives it away, and now Gale is encouraged to run down this left-hand side and chase a loose ball, but Collins has got the beating of him.
Yeah, Nathan Collins just sensing where that one was going over the top.
Fouled Marston with a heavy touch, and Gale was there to put him under pressure. He just about recovered in time, Andy Townsend.
He was trying to drag it back, wasn't he? And his boot rolled across the top of the ball, and his heart rate went up about 40 beats in a split second there, the goalkeeper, let me tell you.
Crikey. That's one of those that you feel for a little while afterwards as well. You're still beating now, and it's thumping out of your chest. Crikey. Imagine if that goes against you. Brentford come forward again. Matheson still waiting to come on. Hickey on the underlap. Gets to the byline. No cross into the near post. It's headed into his own net by Heathcote. And Brentford make the breakthrough. Hickey with the cross into the near post. And Heathcote, diving header, trying to put it behind and out for a corner. Sends it inadvertently beyond his own goalkeeper. It's Macclesfield 0, Brentford 1.
Do you know what? They've been down to 10, Macclesfield, for about 5 minutes, actually. Luke Matheson has literally just run on as the goalkeeper's fishing the ball out the back of the net. And ironically, Sam, they got in, Brentford, down that left-hand side. It was Aaron Hickey, who got into that wide area, cut it back. And the big centre-half, Sam Heathcote, has played well. He's done everything right. Was desperate to kind of get something on it, and has flown it past his own goalkeeper, unfortunately.
Well, it's been a heroic 70 minutes from the home side, but that's a heartbreaking moment for Sam Heathcote, who is a PE teacher by day, had to go back to school just a couple of days after that fabulous third round win, and unfortunately that is a lesson he didn't want to learn.
Yeah. It's one of them, look, it often happens, we've seen it. Listen, you see it at the very, very highest levels. When centre-halves get dragged out the middle a little bit and they go for something towards that near post, get tempted to put something on it. And unfortunately, he's just knocked that one straight past Max Sternley. So that's a real blow for Macclesfield. Well, look, from here on in, it's all about, it doesn't matter if it's 2 or 3, it's about Macclesfield really now trying to have a go and just go right in the faces of Brentford and really try and apply some pressure, turn that ball over and just get it in the box.
Sometimes your instinct gets the better of you. Sam Heathcote started at Manchester United as a striker.
Well, it's a great finish.
I was going to say it's a striker's finish, really. Poor lad. But not where he wanted it to end. It went beyond his own goalkeeper, and it's 1-0 to Brentford. Away by Borthwick-Jackson. Picked up on the near side, down the right-hand side. And eventually cleared away by Macclesfield. Matheson in at right back now, but as you say, just maybe a couple of seconds too late, because it was down that right where they got in after Fensom's injury. They didn't have someone ready to come on. And now Yarmulke going through his repertoire of tricks.
He's actually played very well second half, Yarmulke. He really has played well. Invariably, it's Janelt sitting in the middle of the park now. Yarmulke has pushed a little further forward. He's almost playing like with the 2-10s with Matthias Jensen as well. He's played really well in possession of the ball.
Yeah, and Yarmulke's a very good player, and I think he only failed to start one Premier League game all season. He's a regular. Here is Coyote into Collins, forward towards Donovan, cut out by Lacey. Goes out of play and away for a throw-in, which Donovan will take. And Brentford lead by a 1-0. We're coming up to 15 minutes left of the game. The final 15 minutes for maybe Brentford to put their foot to the accelerator, maybe for Macclesfield to find a leveller on FA Cup game day on Talksport with McDonald's. Order delivery on the McDonald's app from 11 a.m, 18 plus, fees apply to delivery. Orders subject to availability and prices may vary.
Haven't really had a moment, have they, in the second half, Macclesfield? Not really had that situation where you think, something might happen here. Just not really been able to get enough pressure and enough possession of the ball to make something work.
Nothing at all really to trouble Valdemarson. The only thing that's troubled Valdemarson is his own feet, really. Here's Coyote down the right side, looking for Donovan. Offside flag is up. His cross went behind anyway.
Yeah, and the way it's going, if Brentford take a little bit of care, because they've got in behind this Macclesfield defence now, I'd say about 10 times in the second half. I mean, the goal came from that. And I think if they do take a little bit more care, I think they'll add to the one they have.
Jermaine Pennant is with Jamie O'Hara on the Sports Bar tonight. I think Andy Goldstein nicked Jason Cundy earlier on today, didn't he? I was driving from Manchester down to Macclesfield. It's a home game for me, this.
It is for you, yeah.
Yeah. Long journey back for you, but, you know, we can't all have it our own way. Here's James Gale down the left-hand side, getting to the byline, producing a cross in towards the near post. Was that a penalty? No, he's booked in for simulation. Well, what an opportunity that was. Yellow card comes out, and it's going to be a free kick to Brentford away to our left-hand side. Gale had peeled away down the left-hand side. He got to the edge of the penalty area, and it was a brilliant run from Edmondson, who got into the box, and he felt contact from behind. Well, the referee said, no, that was simulation, yellow card.
I mean, look, he certainly felt, whether it was actually contact on his ankles or whether it was an arm on his shoulder, I'm not totally convinced, Sam, but he felt something, and he certainly went down, the referee not having that in the slightest.
Well, he was on the scene, Darren England, wasn't he?
Oh, he was right there very quickly.
After what I've seen this weekend, that doesn't necessarily mean it was the right decision. Ball clipped away by Hickey, out for a throw-in over on the right side. Macclesfield now trying to turn up the temperature a little bit. Flick forward by Osborne into the channel. Poor header away. Edmondson's going to get there first. He does for Macclesfield. Edge of the area, trying to bundle his way through. Jensen pulled back, still keeps hold of the possession. Hickey down the left manages to clear it. They're getting a bit more physical now, Macclesfield, as we go towards the final 10 minutes of the game. Throwing over on the far side. I think it's going to be a Brentford throw in the shadows. I do notice that when you come to some of the non-league grounds, the lower league grounds, floodlights don't cover everything, do they? There's certain areas of the pitch where people disappear. Actually, do you know what I found? One of the worst ones, Birmingham City.
Really?
Birmingham City's floodlights aren't good. Late night games, no. Especially like in the penalty areas, very dark. Need to have a look. Tom Brady should really sort that out. Here is a chance for Macclesfield to break. They don't do that. Coyote manages to send it forward instead. And the ball eventually cleared up towards the middle of the centre circle, and Dawson is felled by Yarmulke, who gets a yellow card. And then there's a little bit of pushing and shoving going on, and Dawson wasn't happy about it.
Yarmulke's got to release the ball. It was clearly a Macclesfield free kick. Dawson wants to get on with the game, and the Brentford midfielder's got the ball under his arm, protesting his innocence. You've got to drop that ball and get away from it nowadays.
Here is Dawson back to the right. Yarmulke was booked for his. He was booked for the initial challenge, and actually could have been booked for not giving the ball away.
There you go. Here's a chance now. Free kick given, wide right area. Get everybody in that box now. Pile them in. Get close together. Make sure the delivery gives people a chance.
I love the fact that Duffy tried to steal 10 yards by putting the free kick on the edge of the penalty area, and the referee's like, no, it's over here, mate. 2 yards in from the right touchline. It's about 9 yards outside the box on the right-hand side. There are 5 blue shirts to aim at in the middle of the penalty area, and now Edmondson is arriving as well. So they've got Duffy at the near post. Gale is in there. Borthwick Jackson up from the back. Mellor in there too. The ball sent in deep towards the far post, but it's so heavy it goes straight out of play, and that is very disappointing. And it's away for a goal kick away to our left-hand side. I think it was Osborne who took it.
Yeah, that's a waste, that one. Just got a little excited there. Elliot Osborne, and unfortunately completely overhit that one and beat everybody and it sailed harmlessly out for a goal kick.
He likes this part of the world, Elliot Osborne. He was the former Altrincham captain, actually sent off in the first round of the FA Cup this season, playing for Altrincham. Of course, the rules have changed nowadays, Andy. You can play for two clubs in the FA Cup.
That's right, you can, indeed.
As Mark Gay is already shown.
He was here, we watched him here. He struggled a bit that day, Mark Gahey too, as so many of the Palace boys did.
Yeah, they had an argument apparently in the tunnel.
Is that right?
Yeah, Glasner and Gay apparently, according to Francis Jeffers, another one of his big reveals this week. Ball sent down the right side for Brentford, who lead by a goal to nil as we go into the 79th minute. Is Donovan getting into the box and dancing and shooting and over the bar with his effort, which goes high into the night sky and out for a goal kick.
Oh, he should score. It's a great little mazy run that from Ramel Donovan, really is. Picks it up. We know he's all left foot, playing on the right side for Brentford up top. Picked it up with his back to goal, corner of the 18-yard box, and then just spun round and went right towards the byline on his right foot. Almost then cut him back in on his left to the corner of the 6-yard box, but then blazed it over the top.
Well, he's only ever scored one senior goal, and that wasn't for Brentford. It was when he was playing for Burton against Northampton back in November 2025. Ball into the box though from the near side, and it might come all the way through to Miller, who gets the shot, and a second one is blocked by Coyote and cleared away. It was a hell of a scramble, and Macclesfield almost thought they were going to get an equaliser. They come forward with Heathcote right side, deep cross to the far post, Edmondson back across the face of goal. Collins manages to get the header out on this near side, and then it's picked up by Donovan and cleared away. Well, what an opportunity.
Yeah, there you go. You get high enough up the field and put the ball in the box and get runners in there, and if nothing else, Damali Miller will always run and chase around and worry people, and he very nearly got the shot away there.
Matheson sends it wide towards the right. The ball into the box is sent in by Duffy. It's headed away by Pinnock, kept alive on this left-hand side. Lacey with an effort. Miller with the header, but he's too much air underneath it, really, and the goalkeeper grabs it rather seamlessly and brings it out to the edge of the penalty area and takes the pressure off the back line. Well, we're in the 82nd minute of the game. Brentford lead by just one, but here's Keane Lewis Potter at the other end, playing the ball towards Yarmulke, who just tried to tease that out towards the far side, and it's cleared away.
Good spell from Macclesfield, last 5 minutes, really good spell. Had about 3 situations where they put the ball in the box and just kept it alive, and it just wouldn't bounce kindly for them.
And Ouattara now on for Furo, which has meant that Keane Lewis Potter has gone down the middle, and Ouattara is patrolling down that left-hand side, and they've had 76% of the ball today. 11 shots, only 1 on target, Brentford, and that's by which it's not the goal, is it? The goal wasn't a shot on target as the ball goes in towards Donovan, and he tries to get hold of it. It's claimed by Durnley in front of the Brentford supporters and cleared away into Osborne. Far side the right is Matheson, then it's back towards Heathcote, who scored that own goal, which might end up being decisive. Pinnock wants his goalkeeper to come. His goalkeeper eventually does, and he takes it away from him.
Yeah, it's actually good play in the end from Ethan Pinnock. Yep, he's got his arms by his side, saying to the goalie, come on, come and grab it. He was a bit slow there, Valdemarson off his line, so in the end Pinnock just decided to deal with it himself.
Well, they haven't had it all their own way by a long stretch at Brentford. They've had moments when they've had to panic at the back, they've had to dig in a little bit, and they did change that front line, which hasn't really created enough. They brought on Ouattara and Keane Lewis Potter just to try and up the ante in this second half. But it remains just 1-0, and while it's 1-0, there's always a chance for Macclesfield to force extra time. 7 minutes to go. This is Talksport. The ball by Keane Lewis Potter is towards Ouattara, cut out by Matheson. It's a long high ball into Brentford territory. Mellor is chasing with Coyote, can't keep it in. It goes out and away for a throw, and there's a yellow card for Dawson. I was waiting for him to get one.
Yeah.
He's not a shy retiring type.
No, he's
Let's
not.
just put it that way.
He certainly isn't.
It's a great great asset to have in your team, though, isn't it?
Correct. He's infectious, as I mentioned earlier. That rubs off on plenty in and around him. And for 20 minutes, 25 minutes of this half, Brentford, I think, sort of bossed the game, took control of it properly in the second half. But just in that last 5, 6, 7 minutes, Macclesfield have just had one or two little flurries just to give Brentford something to worry about.
What a chance for Damani Mellor as well to be the hero, having scored in 4 of the last 5 home games. Ouattara trying to bring the ball out the sky. Little back heel towards Lewis Potter. Doesn't reach him.
That was great skill from Ouattara, very nearly. Ball was bobbling around his shoulder and then everywhere around his chest. He got it back on the floor. Clever little back heel to keen Lewis Potter that was really well intercepted.
Mellor wrestling with Donovan. Ball goes out of play. It's gone out for a Macclesfield throw. And Donovan still complaining. Here's a change. Justin Johnson comes on. And he's going to replace Osborne.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, please show your appreciation for number 23,
Elliot Osborne's played quite well. Gets a round of applause as he comes off down in front of us. The Dutchman, Justin Johnson, comes on. His last goal was in December away at Bedford, the 29-year-old. And he'll come onto this left-hand side. And Mellor, who has been sort of out here since Gale has come on, will go straight back up through the middle as they look to try and find a way to win this game late on. Mellor tries to get it under control. Duffy tries to close down Hickey. He sees it back to Valdemarson. Valdemarson eventually clears. It's hooked for the forward by King Lewis Potter. Jensen into the sky, gets it under control and nudges it back to Pinnock. And they've just got to see out the final 4.5 minutes here, Brentford, to earn a place in round 5 and play West Ham United in the next round. Their record against non-league teams isn't spotless, Brentford. They lost to Boreham Wood in 2012. The ghosts of giant killings past still in the mind of some Bees fans who remember that keenly. But they look as if they've got 1 foot in round 5 at the moment, and there's still some time to go. Free kick for Dearnley in the left full-back position. The Macclesfield goalkeeper launches it upfield. It's headed away by Pinnock, but collected by Ouattara on the halfway line. And now accelerating forward, Yarmulke pushes it down the touchline for Rommel Donovan, who keeps it alive. Yarmulke once again has it. Sends it towards the edge of the box. Jensen shields it, turns it back to halfway. Collins has got pressure from Gale, but he continues to travel with it. And then he plays it out to the near side, and he almost puts it out of play. There's a spicy back pass by Coyote to his goalkeeper, who then allows it to bobble and volleys it upfield. Ball over the top by Jensen. Ouattara chasing into the penalty area. Brings it down elegantly. Then looks to twist his way into a shooting position. Gets the shot away. Blocked by Borthwick Jackson. It's out for a Brentford corner.
Yeah, good defending that from Borthwick Jackson. 1v1 there. Ouattara, fresh legs, just come on. He just couldn't quite get half the yard to really get that shot away and work Dearnley, but
quickly off to a goal at Coventry in Abrahams.
Coventry 2, Middlesbrough 0. Hadji Wright again at the double. Long ball, pumped forward. Wright just got the better of his marker and inside the penalty area steered it past Solbrin. Coventry go back to the top. Live on Talksport 2. It's Coventry 2, Middlesbrough 0.
Delighted for Frank Lampard. You can have your say on that. 03717 2233 44. The ball in towards the far post. Oh, it hits the back of the defender and then drops inside the 6-yard box from the corner. Brentford on the attack still. Collins at the far post tries to head it back across the face of goal. It goes out of play. Well, there was a little bit of disruption just before that corner was taken, Andy.
Yeah.
Because immediately Macclesfield decided to release 2 up the pitch, and that sent a couple of bodies scurrying backwards, and then there was confusion inside the 6-yard box.
Indeed, yeah. There's a little bit more room in that 6-yard box because it emptied out as Macclesfield are just sending players forward now. It's time to gamble.
It certainly is. We're in the 88th minute of the game. There is just under 2 minutes to go. There's 2 balls on the pitch. One of them is loose on the edge of the D. The one we're playing with is on this right-hand side. And the other one's been kicked off now, but here is Donovan attacking for Brentford, trying to get round past Lacey. Lacey makes the challenge. The ball goes out of play, and it's going to be a free kick just in front of the corner area from the short hockey corner sort of zone. 1-0 to the away team. And we are now within seconds of the final minute of the match. And the free kick, about 10 steps in front of the corner flag. And the referee just icing out where that's got to be taken from. Jan Holt saying, it's further on than that, ref. No, get back over there. 5 yards in from the right touchline. And Jensen asking for a short one. Well, surely the defender isn't 10 yards there, but he is behind the line that the referee's marshalled out. Anyway, free kick to be taken. Jan will send this in left-footed at the back post. Pinnock up from the back, trying to get on the end of it with Watara. Drops for Pinnock, who pokes it out of the penalty area to Keane Lewis-Potter, who smashes it goalwards, but it's well over the top of the bar. Yeah, just needs to get his head down and get over the top of that one. Keane Lewis-Potter is really inviting for him, the way it was just rolled back to him. Again, leaning back and just sent it high and handsomely over the bar. Well, 15 seconds of normal time. And the Silkman chant is ringing around Moss Rose. It's been an unbelievable journey that has seen them get through many rounds of this competition. They started this journey in September in the FA Cup. But it's going to come to an end against Brentford in February, unless this last action can yield a Macclesfield equaliser. Well, Matheson's got the ball in his hands. They're all piling in towards the corner of the 6-yard box. Everyone in there now. Long throw has got to reach them. And Matheson has it to launch high into the box. It's towards Heathcote, the own goal scorer, who flicks it on. He thought it took a deflection. He didn't get the contact he wanted on it. It goes straight behind, and it's out for a goal kick. Yeah, it's disappointing. Yep, Sam Heathcote there getting far too much on that. Just need to glance it. Just need to skim off the top of your head and just keep everybody else alive in the box. Unfortunately, really tried to head it backwards and got underneath it too much and heads it straight behind for a goal kick. We're into added time at the end of the 90. We're going to get 5 minutes of added time at the end of the 90. Ball forward by Johnson, down the left. It goes out of play. Johnson will take the throw. In fact, he's going to leave it for Lacey and get into the box himself. So we're into the second of those 5 added minutes, and Matheson actually has said, no, I'll come from right back over to left back and I'll take this throw in, because I'm going to launch this again into the box. He almost caused disruption with the last one. Maybe he'll cause a little bit more with this one. It's a long torpedo towards the edge of the 6-yard box, but it's a foul throw. His foot was way over the line. Scott Ledger, who's the assistant on this near side, was watching that and immediately flagged. Oh dear. You can't afford to do that, not at this stage. Do you know what, though? I will say this. There isn't much room, is there? No, there's very little room. So very little room. From the advertising board to the touchline, you've got about a yard. Yeah, there's no run-up. There isn't hardly any run-up at all, so it's not easy. Having to kind of twist their bodies as they get towards the touchline, to throw it in, but it's very difficult. Janot has it on halfway. There's a head injury here for Dawson. They're going to stop the ball. They're going to give it back to Brentford. Yarmaluk is protesting, but the referee just wants to check on Dawson to make sure he's okay. Janot has gone to ground. I don't know whether they're going to make a late substitution here, because it does look as if there's going to be a late involvement for Luca Bent off the bench, the young 18-year-old Belgian. And he's just sorting out his socks before he comes on. There is going to be an uncontested drop ball. We've played 2 minutes and 43 seconds of added time at the end of the 90 on Talksport. Here is Donovan, who's played. He's been lively on the right-hand side without producing the end product which maybe they would have liked from him, but he's certainly got something, hasn't he? And he's still a young player, only 19 years of age. Might be one for the future for Brentford, who they picked him up from Birmingham City. Away by Valdemarson. Up the pitch it goes. Matheson with a header straight back through the middle. Header by Hickey. Drops down in front of Gale. Macclesfield have it. Duffy sends it round the corner. Matheson can't get there. Hickey alert to the danger, but given away by Watara in the 4th minute of stoppage time. Ball into the box towards Heathcote. Over here. goes out of play, and it just hasn't fallen for them. They've had opportunities, they've had skirmishes in front of the Brentford goal, but nothing quite clean cut enough.
No, just haven't really produced that one ball in the box that looks like it's got a blue and white shirt on the end of it, have they? When they've had chances just over the last 5 minutes, they've rushed it and panicked a little bit and sent it too high or too long, and it's just been a little bit like that for them. Second half, Brentford really asked a lot of questions in that first 20 minutes, and I thought they were really good.
Luca Bent is on for Donovan, who gets a round of applause from the coaching staff down in front of us. Clearance by Valder Marson upfield. We're into the final few seconds of the match now. 45 to play. Bent gets hold of it, comes down the right hand side, steers it back infield towards Yarmuluk. He's asked to go down the right side by the Ukrainian, but across comes the fullback Lacey and manages to win possession from Macclesfield. They want to get it forward. Johnson holds onto it well. He's brushed off the ball, he's pushed off the ball, and the referee gives a free kick. And Durnley comes out, the goalkeeper, and he wants to kick this long. He sends everybody forward. There's one last chance for Macclesfield to maybe drive this tie into extra time. It's Macclesfield 0, Brentford 1 in the fourth round of the FA Cup, with West Ham waiting in the next round of the competition. Durnley from inside his own half will send this long into the night. We've played our 5 minutes of added time. He sends it long and up towards the edge of the area. Borthwick Jackson tries to get on the end of it. Pinnock away. It's kept alive by Lacey. Johnson, Lacey into the area. Gale brings it down, tries to get a strike away. It's cleared away by Yano, and now Keane Lewis Potter is chasing into the Macclesfield half. He's got Yarmuluk on the edge of the area. He can finish it. He falls over the ball instead. He drags the ball back, sends a shot towards the far corner. What a waste.
What a waste.
Well, that's the end of the game, and it's the end of the journey. The fairy tale ends here for Macclesfield FC, but what a chapter they have written. Brentford in the end just about had enough. An own goal from Sam Heathcote separates the two teams and steers Brentford into round 5. The Bees eventually with enough sting to beat the Silkmen and book their place in the 5th round of the competition and avoid the trap that Crystal Palace fell into. I must say, they did a brilliant job again tonight, though, Macclesfield. But in the second half, once they upped it and made the changes, there was only really going to be one winner. Keith Andrews will be delighted with the application of his Premier League stars in the second half, who navigated a tricky artificial pitch and a hostile atmosphere. For Macclesfield, the dream is over, but there's no doubt that the pride remains intact. They stood toe-to-toe with the Giants, but tonight, in the end, the Premier League team got the job done. It's West Ham Brentford in the 5th round of the FA Cup after it finished Macclesfield 0, Brentford 1.
Sam, thank you very much. Yeah, the fairy tale has come to an end for Macclesfield, but my goodness, has it been some story, and they have rewritten their history, the short history of this Macclesfield Football Club. And the players still remain on the pitch, as they will no doubt make the trip around to receive the plaudits of all of the fans here, because it has been an absolutely sterling effort from Macclesfield, who for 70 minutes in this game certainly gave this Premier League team Brentford a real run for their money, Andy Townsend, and it was only an own goal, unfortunately, that settled it in the end. But as I say, for 70 odd minutes, they were in this tie.
Well, they certainly were. They gave it absolutely everything, Natalie. They didn't leave anything in the dressing room at all. That's all you can ask for. Look, when you're a National League team as Macclesfield are, and you're coming up against a very much in-form Premier League side, then to take them as far as they did and to worry them right up to the very final whistle is full credit to them. They've had an amazing journey, beating the holders here in such dramatic, incredible fashion, and then hosting tonight's game against another Premier League team and not being overwhelmed or embarrassed at all. I thought they were wonderful to watch.
They certainly were, and when you consider really that first half, Brentford had clearly been rattled by them. Keith Andrews must have been rattled by them, because Brentford did come out a very different side in that second half, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. They were much, much better. I think they would have got in at half-time, and I think Keith would have said, listen, if you're not careful, if you don't raise it, if we don't find another gear, then this team are gonna keep coming at you, and you could end up going behind. So all credit to Brentford. I thought Jensen, Yarmaluk were very good. Donovan was always busy down the right side, but they kind of took control of the middle of the park a bit for that first 20-25 minutes, and that kind of set the tone. It put Macclesfield on the back foot. They were stretched a wee bit at times. It was corner after corner. Those long throw-ins were coming in, and we were just waiting really for Brentford to perhaps find a way to score. In the end, it was so unfortunate from Big Sam Heathcote that it was he that nodded one past his own goalie, but Brentford deserved to go through. They were the better team on the night, but Macclesfield certainly gave everything.